Hello, my name's Oscar, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to make fresh pasta with a tomato sauce. For the pasta you need 2 ingredients, eggs and 00 flour, 1 egg for every 100 grams of flour. I'm making it for 2 people and I'm doing 200 grams of flour and 2 eggs. First, put the flour into a mixing bowl and make a well with your hands, and then break the eggs into the well. Mix the dough together until it's roughly formed, before using your hands to continue kneading it in a bowl until you have a rough dough. Then tip the dough onto a work surface and keep kneading for about 5 minutes, pushing with the palm of your hand and squeezing with your fingers until you have a cohesive dough that feels tacky to the touch, not dry, not wet. Test it by pushing your thumb into the dough. It should spring back gently, not all the way. When you're satisfied with the dough, wrap it in cling film and store it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes to rest. While it's resting, we can make the sauce. For the sauce you need 4 ingredients: tinned chopped tomatoes, extra virgin olive oil, 4 cloves of garlic, and a herb of your choice. First you need to chop the garlic. It's important when you're using a knife in the kitchen that it's sharp. A blunt knife can easily slip and cause injury. When you're chopping, hold the product firmly. Keep your fingers upright and your thumb tucked behind. Rest the knife blade against the side of your fingers and use them as a guide. Move your fingers back along the product, keeping your thumb behind as you chop. When the garlic's chopped, add a generous amount of extra virgin olive oil to a pan and add the garlic. Very gently fry until it starts to caramelize and go brown. At this stage, add the chopped tomatoes and rinse out the tin with a little bit more water, which you can add as well. Now simmer the sauce for at least 30 minutes until it has a good texture and the tomatoes have broken down. Taste it for seasoning and add salt and pepper. If the tomatoes taste too acidic, you can add a pinch of sugar as well. Add the herbs just before serving, as their aroma is quickly lost if cooked for too long. Now back to the pasta. Divide the pasta up into a manageable amount, and then roll out to about 1 centimetre in thickness before passing through the first and widest setting of your pasta machine. Fold in the ends like an envelope and roll through the first setting again to help form a rectangular shape. After this, you can pass it through each subsequent setting until you get to the thickness you desire. I've taken it to number 7, which is about 1 millimetre thick. Now you can use a cutter or cut by hand to the shape of pasta that you want. I'm keeping it quite thin as I think this goes really well with these sorts of sauces. If they're meatier sauces or thicker sauces, thicker pasta works well. Set the pasta aside and toss it in semolina flour or rice flour, which helps the pasta not stick whilst you're waiting to cook it. When you're ready to cook, warm the sauce in 1 saucepan and bring a large pot of water to the boil. When the water is boiling, add salt. It should taste as salty as the sea in order to ensure that the pasta is fully seasoned. When the water is boiling, add your pasta and cook for around 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. It's important to taste it because your pasta may be thicker or thinner than mine, and it may cook quicker or slower. You're aiming for an al dente texture, which means it has a bite to it but doesn't taste floury and doesn't taste soggy. When the pasta's cooked, rather than straining it into a colander, lift it out with a sieve or with some tongs. This way the starch that's settled at the bottom of the pan doesn't coat your pasta, making it sticky and unpleasant to eat. Add a knob of butter or olive oil to the pasta before mixing it with the sauce and serving it with Parmesan cheese.